What up, everybody? Sven Diesel here. Going to be tying up a Quickdub Nymph with a wire weave. I'm going to start by using some nanosilk in yellow. I've got a stealth hook, C hook, number 10 with a hairline dubbing gritty bead, and I'm going to go ahead and start my thread, working my way back down the shank of the hook, and I'll trim out my tag end. And I'm going to build a slight taper. With the nanosilk, it's a little tough to do, so I'm going to work my way down, go a little bit further down, all the way back up, and then down past the previous ending point, and then go down just a little bit into the bend and back up. Now, for this Quickdub wire weave, I'm going to start by using some purple and ocean or sea green and 2mm wire by Simplify, and I'm going to not tie it in on the top side of the shank. I'm going to tie it in on the side. And whenever I tie in wire, I somehow just, maybe it's my OCD, I took the wire tip into the tungsten bead, and I'm making sure to keep that wire on the side as I work my way back down the bend and maybe shift it over. And then I'm going to tie in my ocean green, and I'm going to tie it in on the opposing side and work my way down to the shank, to the bend of the hook. And with this wire weave, I'm going a little bit further down the bend, and now I'm just pulling a little bit on those wires with my left hand, and it kind of keeps them on each side as I do wraps. Now, the product I've been playing around with a bunch lately is this Quickdub. It's really cool. Comes on a spool. You can see here I'm going to be using the black molted, and I'm just going to tie it in up towards the bead and work my way down the shank of the hook, just adding a little bit more bulk to the body here. And then we're going to end it about where I ended the wire and go up, and let's go ahead and whip finish to hold the thread in place. But for this purpose of this video, I'm going to probably snip out this thread because when you're weaving, it kind of gets in the way, especially with this SLR sitting between me currently and the fly. So I'm kind of going around it, so it might be a little interesting and fun. But that's snipped out now. I'm going to first wrap the body with this Quickdub, and I'm going to be using the rotary function of the vise. And we'll go ahead and start spinning it and making sure that we get the touching wraps with this Quickdub. You can preen the fibers somewhat back as you're doing this. I'm not particularly going to do that because at the later step, once we get the wire weave on, you can use a brush or Velcro to get these Quickdub fibers out of the weave and make it appear buggy. Now, because I don't have thread to tie it off, I'm just going to do a little half-hitch knot here. Wrap it just up over the bead of the hook, and then we'll pull it tight and maybe break it off. Nope, I didn't break it off flush, but you gotta be careful when doing that, because sometimes you can lose your knot there and have to start back over. So I should probably just use the scissors anyway, but I was trying to save a little bit of time and look cool. But here we go. To do the weave, I'm going to go ahead and turn the hook so the point is up, and then I'm going to turn the vise so that it's facing me, and let's adjust this hook once I get this in focus. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust the hook point so it's a little bit more, the eye is down a little bit more so you can see this weave. And it's not a very complex weave, and with the wire it makes it super easy, but we are in focus. And so what I'm going to do is just pull the two wires out to the side that I tied them in on, and I like to do the darker color wire on the inside of the hook, because you can see if all of your weaves are even on the side that way. And I'll show you here in a second. You'll start to see it as I get 3 or 4 in. But what I do is I take the purple wire, I wrap it over, wrap it around the blue, blue go under the underside, wrap the purple back over, making sure not to go over the point of the hook, and then wrap the purple around the blue. The blue goes over, purple around the blue, back over, and back over. And I don't know how much more you want me to say the process here, but there's a lot of the weaving with the wire is a little bit easier than with using like 3 or 4 things of Globrite or yarn or something along those lines, because as I bend the wire over, it stays put. Now the other thing you got to be careful of is as you pull, for example, this blue wire, as I go up and under, I want to make sure I've got a little bit of tension on that purple wire, because otherwise the weave will shift onto the back side of the hook. So you're starting to see the blue dots on each side. That's what I kind of watch for, and as long as I've got those somewhat even, I don't think the fish care, but maybe the fanatics out there that are particular about it will. But you just want to continue this weave, going back and forth all the way up until you get to the bead. Sometimes you can really pay attention to the gap between these segmented weaves, but I don't really care, and I don't think the fish do, so I'm just wrapping them and going from there. And as I get closer up here to the bead, since we don't have any thread to tie it off, what I do is I just kind of wrap one of the wires around the hook, the bead once, and then wrap the other one the opposing way once, and that way it just holds it kind of in place. Since it's wire, it's not going anywhere. And once we got those secure, you can see right here, I'm going to show you all the blue dots on each side right there. That shows that they're even. And let's get our hook turned back up the right way and get it back into position and focused. You can see right there the weave across the back with that blue. That kind of turned out cool. So we've got our weave. It's a little bit secure. We're going to need to tie back in our thread. I'm going to move the wire out of the way, and I'm going to tie back in my thread right behind the bead. And as I do that, I'm just going to do a couple in front, one or two behind, in front again, and behind again. You can also put a little bit of cement here, but I'm really cranking down, getting that pretty solid. And the wire is what I'm tying off is throughout the whole body of the hook. So we're really just securing that wire up here against the bead. So doing the wire back, behind, in front, and these tags are a little long. It's kind of getting in my way, but I could have trimmed them, but there we go. That one's ready to flush cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same to the blue, tying it off, going behind and in front, and then it will be a little bit secure, and I'll use the flush cutters to get it out again. And we're ready to rock and roll. And the last step of this fly is, now that my thread's insecure, let's just adjust it a little bit flat so I can see it better. And we're going to basically add a little bit of a collar hot spot. I'm going to be using some icedub in the red for this one, so you can see the contrasting here of all the colors. And I really like this icedub. It just goes right on the thread. I didn't need wax or anything. It just spins right on. I've always struggled with putting dubbing on, but this seems to go real easy into a nice noodle there. And you can use as little as much as you want. I'm just creating a little hot spot there, and then I'm going to create a second yellow hot spot, but I need some more icedub here. We'll go ahead and just repeat that a little bit, do it again, adding a little bit more now. I didn't sink in the gap there as much as I needed to, but we'll go ahead and put a little bit more on, not wrapping it as tight this time, and finish that off right there. Oh yeah, that's buggy. Yep, that's pretty good. Make sure to preen those fibers back. Now we'll build up a secondary yellow and just really crank down, and it's going to take about 20-30 wraps to get a good little yellow line there, and we're golden. So let's go ahead and whip finish this guy. And I'm just going to do a single whip finish and put a little bit of UV resin on, and snip off my thread. And we are about there, 95% done. So let's put some thin on there, just right on the top. Kind of work it over, let it sit for just a second, and while it's sitting, we've got to cure it for about 10 to 20 seconds. And this is there. We're golden now. The only thing left to do is brush it out a little bit to get it a little bit more buggy, and then go ahead and get ready to get in the boxes to go fishing. So I'm just using a little bit of Velcro here. I'm just going to really hit it hard because we've got the wire on there holding it all together. Hit it from both sides. I'm going to hit the collar I put on just to get a couple fibers out, and that way it really kind of flows, and it just looks buggy. And we got a couple longer fibers than I like, and so sometimes I'll separate them, trim them out, which I'm doing here, because I don't want those flash to get too flashy on it. But that's pretty good right there. Bring it back. We've already brushed it out. Trim it up to your liking, and just go out and fish it. And there we go. Spin it around. You got to look at it. Let's check out the weave. I did pretty okay having the camera between. So there you go.